All right. Is that a cool hat or what? I love it. Just got it today. It's kind of interesting. It came today along with some t-shirts, couple other or one other hat, but I love this hat. So, yeah, pretty cool. Okay, so yeah, my last video got taken down and I got a warning. Um, Gave me some time to think about things a little bit. It's interesting how things kind of gel together and how uh, things seem to happen for a reason. So, along with that situation with YouTube, and then with the reading and Come Follow Me in the Doctrine and Covenants, particularly in section 43. Um, yeah, I've had a little time to think and reevaluate this channel. So here goes. Here goes my explanation. Let me read a scripture out of section 43, and tell you what what the thought process is here of what's going on. This is verse 7. Now, apparently there was a prophetess, a lady. I used to know a lot about church history, and that was really my fascination. And I've expressed this before. I have virtually very little interest in it anymore. I just want the scriptures, and I want the revelation given and to see how it applies for today. The historical background is always important. I'm not discounting it. I'm just saying, for me, that's what I used to love was church history. I studied it. I have so many books on church history. Been to the sites, I've been to Palmyra and upper state New York and all that. I've been to the Pennsylvania sites. I've been to the Susquehanna and all that. Been to Kirtland and Nauvoo, Carthage, Jackson County, all those sites around there, and they're all sacred. It's so important to go, I think, if you can, go to those places. It puts a reality and gives you an understanding of the scriptures maybe a little bit better. And also the study of the situations that the saints were in. It's helpful. But I'm just telling you, for me personally, where I'm at right now, it just doesn't float my boat anymore. But I vaguely remember there was a lady that was receiving revelation in Kirtland, and there were a lot of people, I think. And so this revelation came to the prophet Joseph as the law was going forth out of Kirtland. And this gave me pause. This scripture. It's verse 7, section 43, verse 7. For verily I say unto you, that he that is ordained. Now, this is good to know historically. Ordained also meant set apart, because women could be ordained or set apart. And you'll see why as we read this. Okay, I'll start again. For verily I say unto you, that he that is ordained of me shall come in at the gate and be ordained, as I have told you before, to teach those revelations which you have received, and shall receive through him whom I have appointed. So this gives an order to who should teach, who should receive authority, or not, maybe not necessarily who should receive, but the person needs authority to be able to teach the things that Joseph Smith receives, okay? So, and it's good to read the rest of the verses, but just in the interest of time, that particular verse I thought a lot about that the last couple of days. Um, here's the interesting thing with social media, YouTube. Um, it's all wonderful, it's all good, and we can receive a ton of information. As I'm looking at these things now, and particularly things based on the doctrine and the church and teaching principles, really, of the scriptures, what the prophets say at conference. And I've mentioned this before. I've had this thought, and this kind of solidified it or cemented it in my mind for me, that I have not been called to do this channel. And even though I say in my opinion, which I think is important, I do feel that based on this scripture and just what I feel right here, it's really not my place to be teaching. Now, if I was called and set apart and given permission to do this by the brethren, man, I'd be on board. I'd even wear a suit and tie for it again, which it's not my favorite. I've never understood that suit and tie and suit coat. Suit coats are one of the worst things ever. They don't keep you warm when you need to be warm, and they're too hot when it's too hot. They really don't have much of a function, but I guess you look better or you look more presentable for some reason. I don't know. It makes me wonder, I wonder if Jesus had like dress, like if he was going to give a sermon, did he dress differently? And maybe and I'm not saying that we shouldn't. That's just a question that popped into my head. So anyway, I would even do that. I would dress up if I got a call from downtown Salt Lake that said, "Hey, Brother Palmer, we'd like to call you to do a YouTube channel, and we're going to set you apart to do it." How cool would that be? But I check my phone every day, and I don't have that phone call coming to me. So I guess what I'm saying is it's time for me to not be teaching in that sense. When we're called as a Sunday school teacher, primary teacher, young men, young women, pretty much a calling in the Lord to teach of any time, and you're set apart. That's really a blessing and an opportunity. The church calling I have now, I get to speak once in a while in a sacrament meeting and maybe teach to some degree based on my setting apart, but it really should be limited to that and my family, and then I just study individually. I don't think I can get away with, in my opinion, anymore. I rode that horse pretty long. I started this way before COVID and all that, and so it's been great. I've loved it, and I love all of you. I think you're just amazing in the knowledge, but it just doesn't feel right. Now, I'm not going to take my channel down, and I'm not going to stop necessarily. I'll have occasional videos, but it's not going to be. I'm not going to be talking about the second coming in the scriptural sense. I'm not going to talk about, or in any sense that way. I'm not going to be talking about come follow me, the scriptures and the thing. There are individuals that are what's the word I'm looking for? They're certified. I don't know. I mean, they're not necessarily set apart, but they're and I don't even think it's called CES anymore, but the seminary institutes and those individuals that have YouTube channels and that are teaching Come Follow Me, they're, as near as I can tell, they're given permission to do that by the church through their employment and otherwise, that they have they've been given the go-ahead to do that. I haven't. I just took it upon myself. I thought, you know what? I've had some life experience. I love the scriptures and I love to share them. I love to preach. That's the name. So I've got to think about that name, changing that name. I haven't been called and I haven't been set apart or as they said early on in the Doctrine and Covenants, ordained, to teach. And that's a big deal. It is. So nobody's told me I can't. Well, YouTube did what I could say, what I couldn't say, but nobody from the church has said I couldn't. This is just totally me feeling it and having the scriptures kind of open up to me that hey, and this is really a miraculous thing. Now you can bear testimony of things, and I think the church wants you to still continue to spread the good news of your testimony and share videos and things like that. I haven't really thought a lot about that. My problem is in sharing my opinion, I'm bringing in things that I don't feel like I'm have been called to do that officially, to share an opinion or a testimony about a certain concept. So, I don't want to get crosswise with anybody, and I gotta go by what the Spirit's telling me, and just trying to figure out where to take this channel. And I'm kind of sick of politics, to be honest with you. I love world events. I will continue to study like nobody's business because I think we're really there, but I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to say I'm not going to do it anymore and then I keep doing it on this video. But I will say this. The things I've expressed have really been heartfelt for me. I know it's caused heartburn for some people, and they've expressed that, and I've allowed them to, as long as they were fairly respectful. Disagreeing with my interpretation, whether it's the 10 tribes or the lost tribes, let's say, or the New Jerusalem, or the second coming, or the last dispensation, or the seventh seal, or Book of Mormon geography, or whatever it is. There's been some really good opposition to my ideas, and that's great. I don't have a problem with it. And now I really don't have a problem with it because it really wasn't my place as a calling or a setting apart or authorization. I think that's the word I was looking for earlier. I have not been authorized by the church. And I know I've said that, but then I go on and say things. So, yeah, and I really think all other YouTubers or others that are putting out books and things, I don't know. That scripture is pretty clear to me. We really should have the authority to do it. Now I can have an opinion on the social things, but then again, I can't express it or I'll get banned on this. And I know there's other formats. I've known about them for a long time. I appreciate you folks sharing that with me, that there's other formats that I can express that. They're a little awkward, to be honest with you. Takes a lot of time to upload. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. So we'll just see. I'll keep the channel open. I never intended it to be, to see how many people I can get. I never monetized. I just thought, hey, this is going to be great. I've expressed many times that I love to preach, and this was the place I could do it. But it wasn't right. And maybe it was for that period of time. I don't know. Maybe it was a COVID right thing. I haven't really quite figured all that out. Felt good. So if I go by that, felt good for the most part. So that's it. You guys are awesome. I love my hat. It's so strange. Not strange. It's just the way things are that it came today. So we're all friends. We're part of a community, but yeah, it's something to do on our own and figure out things. And when we have an opportunity to teach with the proper authority, the things of the scriptures and that was revealed to Joseph Smith and in the Bible, and all these things, then it feels right and it's good. If we're not authorized, and there's a lot of us out there that aren't, you guys too might want to think about it. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I'm just saying it's hard for me to argue with that scripture or justify based on that scripture. And I am, yeah, I'm kind of bummed. I am. I really have enjoyed this, and I've enjoyed all your comments, and I love you all. And I'll be back, and I'm not going to get rid of my channel, maybe my name. uh, and there's two things I'd like to come back for. One where I could say, I guess I was wrong on that one, or hey, I told you so. I told you I was right on that. Those would be the two reasons I could come back and talk about that kind of thing after it's happened or come out of their mouth. Politically, like I say, I'm not really into that anymore. It's just too crazy, and I don't know. Not a lot I can do about it. I can take care of right here, and making sure I'm on that path, right? That covenant path, and take care of things like that. But politics and anything to do with that just gets you in trouble. And it's very divisive. That's it. I love you all. I really do. And I hope to see you soon.